Yo, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Woman says, I wish all my sisters would be released from the shackles of hood dudes. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
Dating hood dudes is definitely a huge sign of immaturity in women. And before y'all come at me in my comments, I want to say hit dogs holla. And I've been there before, so I'm not judging. I'm really speaking from experience. When I was way younger, like by the time I was 21, I was done with them. But when I was way younger, those are the type of guys that I used to be into. It's a huge sign of immaturity for the simple fact that you have no future with these type of men. Besides the cheating and the lies and all of that, can't have kids with them because kids need structure and stability. They can't get that if their daddy is in and out of jail, if the money is funny.
Real quick, man, this woman is telling other women to not date men who are going in and out of jail. And that's not all hood dudes, right? She's talking about a certain type of hood dude, right? She's talking about Pookie. And she's saying having children with these men, dating these men, reproducing with these men is a sign of immaturity, and women push back on that. I just can't get over, I can't believe the fact that women will sit there and push back on that. And we know they push back on that because, again, plenty of women out there will reproduce with those men and then complain that men ain't shit. While the men who or otherwise would have been a better choice for you to reproduce with are sitting there looking at you like, really? Let's get back into it.
You never know who's coming for the hood dude that you're with. You never know what type of street trouble he's in. So if they're after him, they could be after you too. It's just unsafe and it's unstable. And I wish that all my girls would be released from the shackles of hood dudes.
Wish all my girls would be released from the shackles of hood dudes. So as always, this was a pretty popular video on TikTok and people responded. Let's see what the people had to say in response to what this chick said. First comment here comes from a woman and it says, I was done at 20. I think a lot of us, it was a phase. It's a surprise emoji, 400 plus likes. That's a lot of likes of a lot of women who agree. And the question isn't whether you were done at 20. It does matter when you stop, right? And start to think seriously about dating. But the bigger question is, were you childless when you stopped at 20? Or did you stop at 20 because that was the reality check that then forced you to try and look for your Russell Wilson?
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Next comment here from another woman says, yeah, nowadays I'm just into any good guy who's respectful towards me and respects himself. That's great. But again, the question is, are you a mother of 3 nowadays?
Put that coffee down.
I know that's bitter coffee. Have you hit the wall and hit your 30s? This stuff matters. But it's good that, women understand this, because if they had fathers in the homes, they would not go looking for these pseudo-masculine qualities from her dudes. We've got a guy here who says, to be honest, I don't even want her if that's all she's used to. Yeah, that is also another point, is if you're somebody who's trying to pivot and the trauma has already been done, right? We can see Pookie has had his way with you, left his mark. You have been branded. Most guys are going to be like, oof. No, thank you. Another woman here says, facts. Oh my gosh, with the crying emoji, I dated one and the consequences have lasted years after. Sounds like we've got a kid. But I don't know. Let's keep on reading. She goes on to say, there's nothing wrong with the man with the trade/degree working for his money. No, there isn't nothing. There isn't anything wrong with it. It's funny that she has to say this. Women have to say there's nothing wrong with it. It's like, yes, of course there's nothing wrong with it. Why would you even say it? Because there are women out here like B. Simone who talk about men who have good jobs, average working men, like they're the scum of the earth, right? That's the same woman who says that she can't, another woman who says she can't find a good man and is consistently shooting her shot at rappers. Next comment here is actually a thread from a guy that says, what made you stop dating them? And the actual TikToker responded back and said, I realized they're actually so unintelligent that the only way they could make a good living is to break the law. Yeah. Good for you. And then a guy here says, damn. And then another guy says, I'm glad you came to that realization. Good for you. And then the last comment here from another woman says, I wouldn't say unintelligent, but they're not always provided the resources to make an honest living like other people in better situations. Nah, listen, you can find any excuse in the book to let Pookie bust its cheeks. Right? You can find every excuse in the book, but it comes down to, are you willing to deal with those consequences? And after you decide to make that decision, you can't cry and complain about it. Same with men in those situations also can't cry and just complain about it. Because if you look at the bigger picture, it's not only that they don't have the resources, but they don't even have the wisdom and the male role models in their households who raise them up to be the type of men who are able to recognize the type of resources that will benefit them, right? That goes back to this whole female empowerment modern era that we're living in. Another comment here from a woman who's asking how I get over this phase. Like, I'm too old to be dealing with this. Ooh, it's too late. It's too late. It's too late for you. We've got another chick here who says, I'll grow out of it eventually. Wow. Just not today. Yeah. Listen, you cannot feel bad for some of these women. They will watch videos like this and listen to this, and they'll still choose toxicity. Can't feel bad for them. Next, another comment here. I acknowledge you saying it at the same time. I'm not glad, because why did you have to go through it to realize this common sense? This person's like, dude, this is common sense. Like, why did you have to go through that experience? She responded back and says, it was truly an accident. My first love started selling drugs after we were already together. I would also ask and wonder if she had a father in her household. It's not an accident. When you're young, you are the responsibility of the elders to an extent who are raising you up. And if you don't have a man to direct you in your household, then chances are you will be one of these women. So the guy responded back to her and says, I mean, no one sells drugs out of the blue. His character wasn't questionable, and I'm guessing you were still with him after you found out, though. And then another woman added in to back the chick up and says, yeah, because it's hard to just break up with somebody you love, especially your first love, because they are making money. And she went on to add, and people most definitely sell drugs out of the blue. The guy responded and said, yeah, they're Walter White. And even him never sold one. You saw the red flag and dive into it. Now you've come to your senses. Confusing sentence there. She responded back to him and says, because for a lot of people, it's not necessarily common sense, especially when that's all they grew up around. That's the key point right there. What did they grow up around seeing? Was there a father in the home? Last comment here reads, now they want to double back to the good guys with the crying emoji, and someone else responded back to that comment, says like, we want these 304s now. Laughing emoji, yeah. F out of here and miss me with the bullshit. Most men who would have been better partners for women who left hood dudes and now are looking for a good guy, right, to date. A lot of them do share this perspective on this situation. They're kind of like, now you want to come over here? And you might think, well, they didn't know any better. Yeah, but their mother had the opportunity to not be stubborn and to take some accountability, to listen to people around him who said, hey, don't have that kid. Wait till you have a husband. Wait till you have a home. Because the decisions you make will affect your children, will affect your daughters, will affect your sons. And if they were stubborn, the consequences will carry over to their kids. It's just what it is. And the best these women can do who don't have children today is realize this early. I think like 21 years old is a good age to realize, especially if you're childless, to realize like, okay, let me start dating with intention and find healthy relationships. The best you can do is not be your mother, not be stubborn, not be a modern woman. Nobody here mentioned the lack of fathers in the household, which is such a critical thing that was missed. Listen, guys, as always, curious to know what you think. Comment down below. I appreciate y'all for checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.